Roxo Media House.
Jeff Wilson started covering the Texas Rangers in 2008, though he'll never forget 2021. Out on his own, he decided it was time to do a podcast, but his wheels were spinning until a nerd came along. There's no going back now. Welcome to the Texas Rangers Baseball Podcast. Here's your host, Jeff Wilson, and the recliner nerd himself, John Moore.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 73, and today it's a preview for our trip to spring training and possibly Marc Church. Guys, we were supposed to have Marc Church going to join us today. The weather in Arizona has not been great. It's delayed some things. He got pushed back. He was supposed to throw yesterday. Hopefully, we're going to get Marc Church, and we may have to even do it old school. We have to do it from our desk and do that.
Yeah, that's fine. I can not put on pants. There we go.
There we go. Just you'll see us from here up, and of course, you can see a lot of me from here down. So doing that. But anyway, so even if we don't have Marc Church, we are heading out next week, and that's something we're excited about.
It is. But yeah, the weather looks like, I looked at the forecast. Looks like it's gonna be okay. But today is Thursday, the 2nd.
Right.
Yesterday in Arizona, the Rangers had the two games, and they both were called in the 7th inning because rain hit the area.
Right.
Mark was scheduled to pitch, and did not. He was backing up today in Maryvale. So we'll see. We're going to get him on. I feel good about it. He wants to do it. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He turns 22, I think, at the end of the month. On opening day, for Rangers opening day, he turns 22. So. Good kid, interesting story.
Yeah,
so,
I've looked up some stuff on him, but it's like, guys, we'll find out that we've got somebody coming on here, and we never tweet it out right away because we're like, because these guys are going all the time, and they'll look you right in the face and go, "Let's do it," and then all of a sudden, well, guess what? Today I've got to do this or do that, or they've called an early meeting or whatever. But if we don't get Marc Church on here. Really, next week though, we're going to be there, and we're going to have a lot of little. Yeah,
no, I already got Dane Acker set up for next week, and we can get Mark. I'm sure he'd love to do it. So we're gonna have guys trying to get because minor league camp starts next week, and,
right?
We're trying to get maybe some bigger fish also.
Right.
So we're going to be busy though out there. I can tell you that, and that's good. I mean, spring training, when the first couple weeks before minor league camp. It's great, but it's just the guys in major league spring training that you're focused on. The minor leaguers are there.
Right.
A lot of them are there. But they do stuff in the afternoon usually. Just so, the big leaguers have everything they need.
Right.
But once minor league camp starts, they go all day. They work out in the morning, they play games in the afternoon. It's a lot of fun. It's guys you don't know, and it's there's a lot of guys you do know, and then the spring roster will get pared down eventually. Next Thursday, the 9th, is an off day, and usually that's when the club officials will meet and discuss what do they need to do and shortening the roster. As the major league pitchers who are going to be in the rotation and are for sure on the team, they need the cactus game innings.
Right.
And so there's just fewer and fewer innings for the guys who are going to be in the minors, like Jack Leiter and
so
Rocker.
I was thinking that.
So they're going to get moved down at some point, and
possibly before we get there, or
get on schedule for the start of minor league camp, and so that they can get on schedule for the start of their seasons.
Right.
And, it doesn't mean they did anything wrong. It's just time for them to get going onto their seasons, and it takes part during minor league camp. So. There'll be some moving pieces while we're there, but we're going to see a lot of guys.
Yep.
A lot of guys.
A lot of videos. We'll be doing a lot of videos. I mean, yes, we'll try to get to games that they have every day, but there may be days when there's a game and I might just go out to the backfields, catch some minor league stuff, and put some videos out on the YouTube channel. By the way, go subscribe to that. Hey, guys, this is spring training, and you know what it's brought to us by? It's brought to us by Premier Properties.
That's right.
We got to bring that out. Hey, go to the website. You see it here on the channel. You can go bump on there. Go to rangerstoday.com. It's there. Full-blown real estate company. I happen to work for them, but they also manage all of my property. So if you're into real estate and investing, we'll bring this up again. Really, seriously, go in there and do it. I know that everybody at some point in their life does something with real estate, whether they rent a house, whether they buy a house, sell a house, something.
Sure.
Full-blown real estate company. Been in business for over 30 years. I've been there 20. So, there's been a long time, but we got to thank Premier Properties once again, because they did sponsor us on this trip. I was trying to figure out what we could do today. I know that you have an opinion on the pitch clock that you wanted to get into.
Yeah, well, I think we just need to talk about it. It's revolutionizing the game, and and there are a lot of people who are
upset with it.
I don't get that.
No.
I just don't get that. It's not changing baseball. It's still 27 outs and 9 innings and 3 strikes to strike out a batter, and
right.
It's just cutting out all the BS.
Right.
You can't adjust your batting gloves every damn pitch.
Yeah, there won't be a Mike Hargrove anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
The human rain delay is what they used to call it.
Or Nomar Garcia-Parra was that way. You just it's more like baseball that
right.
The average pace of play was over 3 hours last year for like the 11th straight season.
Right.
It's when there's not action in the game, when guys aren't hitting the ball and putting the ball in play, there needs to be action. There just needs to be action. It doesn't need to take so long between plays. So, I think it's just going to be a good thing. It's going to cut down on it. It can cut down on injuries. It can cut down on the time that guys are on their feet, need a day off the next day. Well, they're not on their feet as long, and it's going to make plays the better, because fielders are going to be engaged. They're not going to be lulled to sleep, and when they have a ball hit to them and they're on their heels, they're going to be into it. So I just think that it's a good thing. Now, in fairness, I think even if you adjusted it to 20 seconds and 25 seconds instead of 15 and 20 as it is now, that might allow for more beer sales and hot dog sales, which I'm sure that that's going to be a concern. I've seen that brought up.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that I just think the baseball is going to be better.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. And I think some of the timing on the spring training games have gone a little bit.
They're
it's moving
ridiculous.
Right through them. They're going like 2.5 hours.
Perfect. And it worked in AAA. It shortened games in the minor leagues last year.
Right.
I mean, if Round Rock had a game last year, they played an hour 57. A 9-inning game.
Yeah, that's great.
And
that was probably a little bit low scoring.
It was like 1-0. Spencer Howard, I think, pitched the game, had a great outing. But the fact of the matter is that you don't need to spend 4 hours at a ballpark. It should not take 4 hours to play a 9-inning baseball game. Now, there will still be 3-hour games. There will be games where a guy can't find the strike zone.
Yep.
And even though he's not finding it quicker, it's still gonna mount up, pile up, and there's still gonna be mid-inning pitching changes and all that
Absolutely.
stuff. But as a whole, the game's gonna be faster, and I think they're looking to appeal to a younger demographic. I mean, the thing about the NBA is the NBA has a clock,
right?
And I'm not.
So does the NFL.
Right. I'm not comparing the NBA and baseball. It's like apples and oranges, but you can sit down at 7:00 and know that you're going to be in bed at 10.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wait up until 11 for the damn game to end. So I just think that it has the potential to do a lot of good for the sport, and that's why they're trying it.
Absolutely.
And if it blows up on them, okay, maybe
they can make a rule change.
They can adjust it by a few seconds, but I don't think the pitch clock is ever going to go away now that it's here.
And I agree. And you and I know this. You know way more than I do. I've only done this for 5 years, but as a parent of young kids, first of all, to keep them engaged. I mean, you start getting in. I know about me when I go to any game that I like to stay till the game ends, unless it's just a stupid blowout and you want to get out of there. But those games last a long time. If you got small kids, it doesn't last. But in the press box, as well as we do, we got to go down and talk to players after the game. There's things you got to do. I mean, you're talking about going to a normal game and pulling out of there for you writers, getting it all written down. It's 11:30 at night sometimes getting out.
Or later, yeah.
And I'm sitting there downloading videos and anything I'm doing and getting out at 11. I mean, it's a long night. So it helps that. Now, so I like it. I mean, I have no problem with it. And I'm a purist who's followed baseball all these years. The pitch clock is so do y'all not remember the way basketball used to be when there was no pitch clock
Or
or
shot
when there was
clock,
no
yeah.
clock on it and some team would just stall it.
4 quarters, baby. Dean Smith.
Yeah, they would just stall it out and the games would be low scoring because you get ahead of somebody, just stall it out and,
Yeah.
play keep away and not have to worry about, but now you got to put it up on the glass at some point. And now a lot of those NBA games come down at the end, nobody's completely out of it because they have to go down and do those shots. And maybe unless they're 20 points down going in.
But look, I mean, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
30 years ago, average pace of play was 230, 240.
Right.
Nobody was complaining.
No.
All right. Nobody was complaining about that.
Right.
And it's the same baseball
Right.
as it is today. And so I don't know why there would be anybody who I had an uncle. His name was Uncle Cliff, and he lived in Evergreen, Colorado, which is where Brock Burke is from.
Right.
That's where my family's from. And Uncle Cliff, it takes a while to get to Denver from Evergreen, and they paid season tickets. They're part of our family season ticket package, and so when Uncle Cliff went to a game, he wanted to be there.
Sure.
Okay, he's like the only one I know who's ever wanted to be at a baseball game for a long, long time.
Right.
So I'm sure there are a lot of
I don't mind.
I'm sure there are a lot of Uncle Cliffs out there, but to sit through a game, it can be pain. It can be mind numbing. It's terrible. It makes your stomach upset. It's like, oh my God. So,
well, here, and the reality of it too, for those of you going, well, look, what happened 30, 40 years ago, there was 2 hours and 30-minute games and they didn't have pitch clocks. Why are they doing that? Every pitcher used to pitch almost every inning of every game back then. You didn't have all the stuff you do now. And I'm sorry, that game has changed. You have more strategies. It's a different game now as far as that goes. They're using the bullpen way more than they used to use it.
Right.
And so that's part of it. But let's get the guy in and out, and don't stand up there and throw over to first base 37 times.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that guy from stealing.
And that's another thing, maybe there'll be more stolen bases. Maybe there won't be.
Right.
Maybe it becomes an advantage for like Bubba Thompson and Leody Taveras.
Anybody that's fast.
Sure. And but again, I just don't see from the baseball playing perspective, I don't see any negatives.
I don't either.
And I know that, it doesn't mean the ball's going to be put in play more.
Right.
But it just means that the bad, what some people think is bad baseball, it's just going to happen quicker. But I just think there is going to be good baseball. And look, the Rangers this spring they've had some double-digit run totals, and so it's not like offense is lacking or anything. So I just think that and granted, it's only been a week. I just think that the early returns are very, very favorable, and that anybody who's worried about the quality of baseball, they're just being devil's advocate, or being sticks in the mud. I just think that
they're being the old timers who it was always better back then, and it was.
But the old timers like 2 hours and 30-minute games.
Yep, they did.
It's might be people from the last 20 years,
absolutely,
and don't know don't know it any other way. Baseball can be better, and baseball needs to be better.
Absolutely, and they've got to shorten in the game, bring some of the kids back into it too, that can sit through and watch the game with a little more action. Even a game that's a pitching duel that's going back and forth because the pitcher's up there dealing, and doing that. But another thing I wanted to do. We're not going to go through a full roster prediction. It's way too early, but some of the special things where we're sitting at right now. Now, one thing we talked about last week, guys, you guys know about this. We said it doesn't matter what's gone on in these games so far. It doesn't matter that Grossman hit 2 home runs in the first 2 games and what he's hitting or what. It means nothing. But still, we're kind of seeing the way that Bochy seems to be playing things. One thing I've noticed too is that when he kind of puts out that A lineup that he's putting out. Josh Young is batting 7th.
Yeah.
He's done it every time. But on the roster, let's talk about some certain things. Left field, do you think right now, if it were today, are we looking at Miller and Grossman? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Grossman has a major league deal.
Yeah, no, he's going to be here.
He's on the team.
Unless he's injured. And
he hits left-handed pitching really well.
Right.
And then Brad Miller, who's been playing really only first base and DH, maybe he doesn't need to go out to left field just yet.
Right.
If his coming off the injuries last year, maybe they're taking it easy and he doesn't need the pounding yet. But I anticipate that's what it's going to be. They got to look. Brad Miller's off to a good start. Again, it doesn't matter, but
he's
off to a good start. He's healthy. He's in a better mood.
Right.
Not that he's ever in a bad mood, but
yeah, that's true.
You could tell he had some energy that he didn't have last year, and so that's what I think. We know who the position players are going to be, the starters and all that.
Right.
The one thing I have noticed in the box score so far is like where some of the guys, the bench candidates, are playing. Like you've seen Mark Mathias playing second base, which he's done a lot in the minors, but
Smith's been playing short,
but not in the majors. A little first base for him. Josh Smith as the shortstop. This is something we've talked to Bruce Bochy about a couple times. And this is like long-standing baseball tradition that your utility infielder has to be able to play shortstop.
Right.
And it's an absolute must.
Right. That's different.
The deal is that Marcus Semien can play shortstop.
Right.
But the question's been if there's going to be a long-term, if Corey Seager
goes down,
decides to go into the Catholic Church or something,
right?
And you need a shortstop long-term. Is Marcus Semien better served just staying at second base or moving to shortstop?
Right.
And if the answer is to stay at second base, then you got to have Josh Smith on your roster because
Absolutely.
he's a better shortstop than probably both of them.
Right. Defensively. Absolutely.
And so and he can play left field too. But so I think that's why he's playing shortstop. Is the Rangers are really considering having a bench player who is a shortstop, and when Corey Seager is off, even if it's just for a day, then Marcus Semien stays at second base.
Right.
If Corey Seager has to go to the injured list, which he's done several times in his career,
sure.
Well, then you have your shortstop right there. So,
right.
I think those are the little things you kind of look at and you wonder about.
So prediction on backup, who would you say right now is your?
I would think that Josh Smith is on the team.
Okay.
I mean I don't know if I predicted that. I did the roster prediction right before.
Yeah, that was
started.
Before anything going.
That was before Grossman had.
And this will change again before it all comes down.
Just if you read the tea leaves, and the questions that we asked the manager and the way he answered that one in particular, it seems like they want somebody who can play shortstop.
Okay.
So so that's and again these are typical spring training storylines.
Right.
Injuries. And who's in the bullpen and who's on the bench,
right?
Because you pretty much know everything else, and so bullpen wise, is Glenn Otto or Dane Dunning? Are they candidates? Like Glenn Otto has a 12.27 ERA after 2 outings, and he had a bad spring last year, but they liked the way he was throwing it, and he was the first guy they called up. So maybe he's just on his process. Dane Dunning, today's game, he 1 run in 3 innings, and he struck out 5.
Okay.
So
I was driving here at it.
Is he a candidate to be in the bullpen? Spencer Howard has some fans in camp. They like his athleticism. They like his pitch mix. Is he a guy who's a long reliever? Because he's got a bigger arm than both of those guys.
I'm hearing some good Reagan stuff too.
Reagan's has been unbelievable.
He's hitting like 97.
Reagan's has been really, really good.
Is he beefed up? I can't wait to see him.
He is bigger. It's noticeable. But he's just been a bulldog. Like his bullpens have been great. The way he's pitched has been very, very good. So, do you flirt with him as a reliever? Given his injury history, I don't know. But hey, if Bruce Bochy said he wants the 13 best pitchers. He doesn't care if you don't have if you're not lefty in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Doesn't care if you are a developing pitcher. But Reagan's has major league time.
Yep.
And and it's not a terrible way to continue his development, letting him learn in the bullpen. The Rangers did it a lot in the past. I mean, Derek Holland, was a reliever.
Yeah, a good reliever.
Much of his first season, and so you just kind of. There's a lot of possibilities, and you wonder about that with Reagan's and guys like that.
Absolutely. So if you're looking at your bullpen right now, you'd say the closer is either between Hernandez and Leclerc. I would say Leclerc, by the way, not going to play in the WBC. They just announced that today.
Oh, okay.
He's got neck stiffness.
Yeah.
Nothing major.
That's
Evaldi's got that little thing on his
that's stuff that's coming up too.
Yeah.
The Mets are concerned about Edwin Diaz pitching in back-to-back games.
Right.
The closer for the Dominican team. Did the Mets not consider that before
signing him? Yeah.
No, not before signing him, but why now on March 2nd does that come up? Why didn't it come up on January 3rd? Or last season when they knew he wanted to
play in the WBC.
Why didn't it come up? So it just seems like teams are trying to find excuses.
Yeah, well, they're looking at injuries that are happening around the league, and they're doing. But no, I totally agree. You probably should have. You could have easily gone to the Dominican, and if is that who he plays for, the Dominican, and gone, hey, look, he wants to play. Just an FYI, no back to backs. All right, so let's try to work that back to back. Unless he's built up towards the end, check with us first, but let's do it.
Look, I really think that Jose Leclerc could probably pitch through this neck thing. All right.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the first game's not until the 11th, so that's 9 days from now.
Right.
And I know there's that Yu Darvish had the big neck thing in 2014, which caused Nick Martinez to, make the opening day roster. Well, I don't know if he made the opening day roster technically, but he started the Rangers' 5th game.
Right.
Out of nowhere. And that's why Tanner Shepard was the opening day starter.
I still remember that.
So, but my point is, it just seems like teams are looking for an excuse to not send their players to the WBC. And I feel bad for Jose because he is a good pitcher. He hasn't had this opportunity before, and you don't know if you're going to get it again. Who knows where he's going to be in 4 years. So that's unfortunate for him. But anyway, he's going to be your bullpen. Hernandez is going to be your bullpen. They're looking pretty hard at Ian Kennedy. To be closer and non-roster deal, older guy, lots of experience. I don't know. Brock Burke's name has come up as a potential closer.
Yeah.
And those are kind of the 4, I think. I know Joe Barlow, our guest last week, is closed, but his name really hasn't been mentioned.
But all 4 of those guys are bullpen candidates.
Yeah, they're in the bullpen. Joe Barlow's in the bullpen.
So what are we going to have, an 8?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Kennedy's in the bullpen.
Okay.
8 relievers. So let's say Leclerc, Hernandez, Burke, Hearn, Barlow. So 5. you got 5. So then Odorizzi,
yes,
6, right?
He's going to make it.
Yeah.
Is he injured right now or something?
He hasn't pitched. It's interesting.
Yeah,
and then there hasn't been a lot of news on that. But there are 2 other spots. So what are you going to do with those spots?
Well, Brett Martin's injured. He goes on the 60-day IL, so you don't have that one.
So, but because the bullpen or because the rotation is potentially short on innings, do you go with more multi-inning guys?
Right.
So that opens the door for Glenn Otto and Cole Reagans.
Right.
If you
or Dunning and Reagans.
Yeah. And right. And if Burke is just a 1-inning guy, then you really need another one or maybe 2. Where does that leave like the 1-inning guys? John King can pitch multiple innings, but is he better just in 1 inning?
Right.
Josh Spores, 1-inning guy. Lucas Jacobson, who I wrote a story on Friday on the Farm at
He's the Grand Prairie guy?
No, he's a left-hander. He's been through a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's really been impressive. Marc Church has been impressive.
Oh, no, that's the name I keep
He's never pitched above Double-A.
That's what I was looking forward to talking.
He's been very, very impressive. And then Spencer Howard. So there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of combinations. A lot of it's going to depend on the health of the rotation and how much they want to push them. But there are just so many possibilities right now. But you seem to have an idea of who like 6 of the guys are. So there's really, let's say there's 2 open bullpen spots, and then the bench.
So if you predicted today, who would you say?
I mean, just listening to everything this offseason, it seemed like they really want Otto for that spot.
Okay. So Otto and Reagan?
I think, well, I don't know. Do you want to do that with Cole Reagans? My pre-camp prediction was that Kyle Cody would be on the team.
Oh,
Kyle Cody's good, man.
Another name.
Kyle Cody's good. So there are a lot of good arms. It's just a matter of, the 40-man roster will come into it. How many spots can you clear? How many spots do you want to clear? Do you want to add Ian Kennedy and Kyle Cody? Okay, so that's two. Are you going to have any non-roster guys you have to add? Like Clint Frazier's off to a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Do you want to add Clint Frazier to your roster?
Has he got an out in his deal? I don't even know.
Probably. Like Sandy Leone. What happens if they want to play it slow with Mitch Garver and you got to have a catcher? Do you want Sam Huff to go to the minors and catch every day, or do you want to just add Sandy Leone because he's a veteran and knows how not to get rusty?
What's the Huff thing? His shoulders hurting him?
Shoulder tightness. I'm shocked if it's anything serious.
Yeah, right. Everything right now is they're back to full speed and it's starting to.
Yeah,
it's just starting
typical spring training soreness.
Yeah, they're just sore, and they're going to be very, very, very cautious.
Yeah, it's just the names are different.
Yeah,
it's not Adrian Beltre anymore.
Yeah,
it happens to be Nathan Eovaldi.
So we're guessing here. So who do you guess? Otto, those two, and then I want to go to there. I mean, we're not going to do the whole roster because we know who a lot of the roster.
I'll say Otto and Cody. I think that's what
Otto,
I wrote.
Cody.
I'm not gonna
Okay,
change it.
so who is? Okay, we know who our starting infield is.
Yep.
We know who our catchers are right for now.
Yep.
We got Hyman and Garber.
Yep.
We know who our outfield left to right. You're probably looking at, let's just say Grossman, and then you got Leote, and then you got Adolis. Who are the bench guys?
Well, Brad Miller's on the team.
He's going to make the team, so he's going to be either platoon or he's going to play some first base and maybe DH or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brad Miller's one of the guys.
I would put Josh Smith on the team.
Okay, it's another guy.
Bubba Thompson on the team.
That's okay.
And then
is there one more?
And then you don't know. Then maybe it's a Mark Mathias.
I like Mathias.
He can play a lot of things. He had a nice audition, I guess, at the end of last season.
Stayed here and worked out with Marcus
Simeon, which I'm sure can't hurt.
No.
The coaches saw him a lot. So let's go that. Let's do that. That gives you one or two left-handed bats on the bench, depending on if Brad Miller is playing or not. And Grossman is a switch hitter, and he's been really bad against right-handers the last couple of years. But he thinks he's worked on some things, and hitting coach Donnie Ecker thinks that he knows why Grossman's been out of whack. So it'd be nice to see him get some left-handed at bats. But
that's a nice problem to have. If he
I still think Bubba Thompson makes the team. Just he can play all three outfield positions.
He's a threat. He's a late inning threat.
He's a guy. He's a winning piece because of his speed.
If they want to win,
and his defense,
that is one hell of a weapon.
Yeah. Sure.
And let's just say he does turn into anything where he's batting 240, 250 and getting on base a little over 300. That's a guy who might be rotating around and getting in that lineup 3 or 4 days a week.
Sure.
And then definitely getting in late in games and close games. He's going to be pinch running.
Defensive replacement.
He's going to play a lot. But like you've always said, in his development, do they need to get him more at bats every day? But good Lord, Bochy wants to win.
Yeah.
And Bochy wants every weapon he's got in the toolbox.
Well, Chris Young wants to win. The Rangers want to win.
And Ray Davis. Nobody. Ray Davis opened his checkbook and said, I want to win.
So find your 26 and do it.
All right. So we've talked about basically anything else we want to touch on. And then maybe, guys, you'll find out if we do have Marc Church that's going to join us here in a second.
Yeah, there probably is a lot of things we can talk about, but I think that it looks like Jacob deGrom's on a good track. It looks like they're not worried about Eovaldi.
It's just normal sort of. Hey, guys, again, we're going to be there next week. When you see this and it first comes out, know that we are going to be at spring training next week. Who do you want us to talk to? Message us. Anybody you want to ask a question? Look, I can almost guarantee you we can do it. Sometimes you can't. These guys are moving around, but we'll be able to try to throw a question out or do something or talk to somebody. Sure. So let us know who you want to talk to. Be happy to anybody from the minor league all the way up to the big leagues. Any front office, we can try to hook that up too. But you got to let us know. We're going to get videos. We'll make some videos. They're going to be out. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. And a big thanks to Premier Properties once again, who is the sponsor of spring training this year, for doing that. When we come back after this, we're either going to go down on the bus leagues or you're going to see Marc Church here in just a second.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Rangers Today spring training coverage is brought to you by Premier Properties. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or have someone manage your real estate, Premier Properties is the place for you. They've been serving the DFW area for over 30 years, plus they manage my properties, so I should know. If you have any real estate needs, call them at 972-298-4000. That's 972-298-4000. Or go to swdallasrealty.com. That's SW, like Southwest, DallasRealty.com. That's Premier Properties, your Main Street realtor. All right, guys, and joining us right now from Surprise, Arizona. In fact, he had an inning today. It's Texas Rangers right-handed pitcher and a name that we have been hearing a lot about from Surprise. It's Marc Church. Marc, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Just trying to cool down. It's actually warming up here in Surprise. It's been cold the whole week, so it's good to get some sunshine today.
Marc, it's been cold the whole spring. There were 3 nice days, and that's it. It's been cold, rainy. It hailed one day, for crying out loud. You got rained out the other day, which screwed us up. So anyway, glad you could make it. Glad we could work this out. Yeah, John said talked about your inning today. 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, scoreless inning. Kind of continuing a good spring for you. So what is working for Marc Church?
Honestly, everything is pretty much working. I'm just trying to stay focused and stay consistent at this point, though.
For those of us for listeners and watchers who might not know, talk about your arsenal a little bit. Fastball, slider.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
I have the fastball and I have the slider. Right now I'm trying to learn a splitter. So Baldy has been kind of teaching me his and giving me little pointers every day. So hopefully I have that by the end of the year. But right now I'm just trying to perfect the fastball and slider.
So this is your first big league spring training. You know the names on the big league roster. I know where your locker is. I know the guys you're next to. What's this experience been like so far for you?
I mean, it's been nothing but amazing. Guys like Brad Miller and Nate Eovaldi, man, they really talk to me. They take their time every day to just, talk to me. And I have a lot of questions, me being in the minors. And I just question those guys every day. How's it like? How do they handle adversity? And what's it like in the bigs? And is everything I imagine? So just having those guys, sit down and talk to me and take their time to, just explain what it's like up there really has been a help for me.
Has there been one tip above all else that you really has sunk in with you?
Honestly, Brad told me to stay boring. If I'm struggling or if I'm doing really good, just to stay consistent in my routines and never get too high or too low, just to keep riding it out. It's a long season. Now
your locker, where it is in the clubhouse, it's right by the door the coaches go in to get to their locker room. So I think you get a lot of extra conversations with guys. And I saw you having one with Greg Maddux. And I really, honestly, I couldn't hear a word you were saying, but I thought you guys were talking about change-ups. But what was it about? And I know where you're from. You're from Atlanta. He was a Braves great. Was that like a surreal moment for you?
Yeah, it was a surreal moment. And, I grew up a big Braves fan. I know who Greg Maddux is and been idolizing him my whole life. So, just to have him in spring training, I had to ask the question, how he threw the changeup. I'm not a big changeup guy because that's kind of not my slot. But he was just explaining to me everybody has different shapes and really you just got to learn it for yourself. So that's the best advice he could give me. But I mean, just talking to him every day about the delivery and the foundation of pitching has been wonderful.
Those great Braves teams, you were technically, I don't even think you were alive for them, honestly, but I'm sure you know the history of Glavine, Smoltz, Matt Maddux, Steve Avery, just all these great pitchers. But you didn't pitch really a lot growing up.
Yeah.
So how did it evolve until you started pitching again?
So actually, I got on the mound as a bet. So one of my best friends, he bet me, it's the last game of the fall, and he bet me, I think it was $50 that I couldn't hit 90 off the mound. So I take the bet and I get on the mound, and I think I hit 91 miles an hour, and then I ran into
you hit 92.
There it is, 92. But after that, I got with my pitching coach back home. I hired one. His name is Marvin Freeman. Pitched 10 years in the bigs.
Oh,
And
I know
sure.
Marvin. Yeah, I know
yeah,
Marvin.
yep. So he told me that day, he said, "You're not a shortstop anymore. You're a pitcher." So I took that and rolled with it, and then it just played out how it played out for
What
sure.
did you do for $50?
I do not remember. I probably bought some food for 3 weeks, but $50 in high school, that's lasting me at least 3 weeks to a month. So
That's a lot of that's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of Chick Fil
Chick-fil-A,
A.
a lot of
That's,
Chick-fil-A, and a lot of Chipotle for sure.
that's a lot of, yeah. So it seems, I mean, your birthday's at the end of this month.
Okay.
You turned 22. I mean, it's not like you've been pitching a long time. How much are you still learning about it? I guess you never stop learning, but do you feel like you're a
I'm
crafty
learning.
veteran now, or do you still have some things that you need to learn?
I feel like I'm still at the beginning of this pitching stuff. I feel like I haven't even cracked the surface to pitching. I know it's pretty. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I don't try to, make things too difficult with too many analytics. I just try to keep it simple and be an athlete up there. But I'm learning new things about my foundation and my delivery every day, and just trying to take things from different players to ultimately make me a better pitcher.
So the splitter, why would you incorporate that? Just another weapon, a different look.
Yeah, just a different look to lefties, especially last year. I noticed like lefties had an easier time seeing me than the righties. Last year, I felt like when a righty came up, it was game over. But when a lefty came up, I kind of had to, work around certain situations and just something to go right to the lefties.
Okay. So I mean, you are in big league camp. I know you made it to Double A last year, which as you damn well know, is 45 minutes away from Globe Life Field. But being in big league camp, does that make it feel like this is real? This isn't too far away.
Yeah, that first day in big league camp, I still couldn't even fathom how good it felt. We got 3 pairs of pants, everything. You got a chef there, so I mean, everything was surreal to me. I'm like, dang, I see DeGrom walk in and guys that I literally just take notes and watch on YouTube at night. And these guys, I'm in the same locker room as them. So the first couple of days was definitely crazy, but I just want to show that I can ultimately maybe get there one day. So
you've pitched 3 times now, I think, this spring. The last 2 have been really good. The first one lasted 1 pitch. It was a strike.
mm-hmm.
It was a strike. For those who don't know, it was hit for a walk-off homer. And what did were you like? Damn it! I didn't even get started.
I was actually asking for the ball back because back in minor league camp, games don't really matter. They don't really keep up with the score. So after he hit it, I'm asking for the ball back, and they're like, "The game's over. Get out the field." I'm like, man, I forgot this isn't minor league camp. So it was
What did they say? Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was just came on. And I kind of really wasn't bummed. I was just like, dang, I guess welcome to the big league camp.
Yeah.
So, did you come into camp with goals that you were trying to set out to accomplish? And I mean, it's been 2 weeks. So, how are you doing on that progress?
Honestly, my whole goal is just to learn from the guys who are there, the veterans in the locker room. That's my whole goal. If I can just take something from each one of them, and put it into my routine, that's my ultimate goal to make me better. So every day I come up with a question with Evaldi, when I see Evaldi, and just to pick his brain and ultimately become better.
Yeah, we talked to him. I don't know if it was I guess it was the first day in camp. And he was talking about, all these young guys. And he said, Marc Church.
I've heard your name a few times.
Do they pat you on the butt? I mean, I know you're a young guy and they're veterans, and there's always that old kind of sentiment in big league camp where the veterans don't want to give the rookies any dap. But it seems like these guys are pretty open and building up, not just you, but other young guys.
Nah, especially Baldy. I remember his first day in camp. I've been there. I've been here actually since like January 30th, but I think he got here mid-February before everybody else. And he was in the minor league locker room with us. And then one thing that really stuck out to me is that he was watching everybody's bullpen who threw that day. And I think he was out there for an hour and a half. So just seeing him and he's literally like learning and just watching everybody. So seeing that was really like, dang, this guy is really a great teammate. And so after seeing that, I was just like, I had to go up to him and ask him stuff every day because he's been there. He's been through failures, injuries. He's been through it all. So
Yeah. Well, that's just it. You're not just learning how to pitch. You're learning how to be a ball player, and
exactly.
being a great teammate's part of that.
Yep.
So I think that's great. Excuse my dogs for barking. This is the point in the show where I let John start asking some non-baseball questions. So John, fire away.
Yeah, I get to he asks the softball stuff, and then I get to have a little more fun with you here. Okay, so you grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yeah.
You went to North Atlantic High School. Did you play any other sports when you were growing up?
I played football for 2 years when I was 8 and 9. I got hit once. I didn't play a lot. I rode the bench. So I got hit once in practice. They put me at quarterback and it knocked the wind out of me. I was crying and I never played football after that. And then I played basketball all the way up to 9th grade. And then I kind of was shorter growing up. I didn't hit a growth spurt until my senior year. So I was about 5'6" all throughout high school. So I knew basketball wasn't going to work. So yeah.
What are you now, 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3". So
good.
I was definitely a late bloomer.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so
how tall were you when the Rangers drafted you? Your senior year?
6'1".
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's only 21. I mean, good Lord, he might have another inch growing in there. I don't know. I mean, that's the age. Okay, so in 2019, you were an 18th round pick by the Rangers. So this is a fun question I always like to ask. So you were a middle round, you were later round. Where were you at, and how did you find out you'd been drafted?
I remember I was at Main Event, so it's kind of like a restaurant. If y'all know what Main Event is.
Yeah, we've got a couple here in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at Main Event with my agent, and then I remember he told me I was drafted, and I thought I was gonna be like a day 2 guy. I didn't really know how the draft worked, so I remember after day 2, I was real bummed that I didn't get drafted, and it was looking like college was what it was. So he explained to me more of, just because you're in the later rounds doesn't mean that you are going to sign for less than what you want to sign for. So after he explained all that, then I was real stoked. I mean, the Rangers at the time, Derek Tucker was the head scout, and I probably was the closest with the Rangers throughout the whole. I mean, for me, the draft process happened so late. So I was closest with the Rangers, and I was just stoked that I went to the Rangers.
Okay, so now for those that don't know, you were going to go to North Carolina A&T. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. So I was going to I was going to North Carolina A&T. They call it NCAT for short. But once I started pitching, I committed there as a shortstop my first semester of high school. So once I started pitching, I committed to Chipola College in Florida, the JUCO.
The JUCO, Chipola. Okay, I was going to say, did you have any other offers besides that?
No. Before, as a shortstop, no. I didn't have any other offers.
Okay. So your first pro season that you pitched, did you just stay at the Arizona Complex League? Is that where you stayed, or did you end up going out?
So my first year, I signed so late. I signed in July, and I think we had about 6 weeks left in the season. So they decided not to pitch me that whole 2019 until instructs.
Right.
And then my pro debut was actually in 2021 because of COVID.
So, 2020 shut everybody down. I guess did you start out at down east, or where did you go?
I think I spent 3 weeks in extended, and I got out of extended and went to down east.
All right, now here's some fun stuff I like to do. Favorite food? What's your favorite kind of food you like to eat?
I'll go with shrimp Alfredo. That's shrimp Alfredo guy.
You're muted, Jeff. So Jeff, you're muted. If you're trying to say anything, you're muted.
I said that's interesting because no one's ever said anything like that. It's usually steak or my mom's spaghetti or something like that. Shrimp Alfredo, man.
Man, you can't go wrong there. Shrimp Alfredo is some good food. I don't care who you are. All right. Is there a favorite fast food you like to eat?
Chipotle, if that counts.
That does
Chipotle
count.
counts.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to?
Chipotle, I'll probably eat during the season. I eat Chipotle almost every day.
What do you usually get?
If not,
Is it the same thing? Is it?
Yeah, I usually go two steak bowls, and then I eat one right then, and then I try to save one for after practice and before the game, and then make a smoothie. So that's my pregame ritual is Chipotle every day.
All right, now let's go to your favorite home cooked meal. So, what's your favorite home cooked meal, and who cooks it? Is it grandma, mom, girlfriend? Who cooks your favorite home cooked meal, and what is it?
I'm probably gonna go with let's see. I don't know if you heard of this, but I remember I told one of the chefs in the clubhouse the other day, but salmon croquettes, it might be a country or
No, I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
sure.
They were looking at me crazy when I said salmon croquettes in the lunchroom the other day. So I'll go with my mom's salmon croquettes.
Did you tell them how to make it?
Some?
Nah, they didn't know what I was talking about. I don't know how to make it, so I just left it. I showed them a picture and left it at that.
I tell you what, when you get up there, they'll start making you some salmon croquettes. Make sure. Okay, so Mark, tell me this: what do you like to do in your spare time? Do you play golf? Do you fish? Do you hunt? What do you like to do?
When I'm back home in Atlanta in the off season, I like to play basketball because for conditioning.
Right.
Like that's easy way to get conditioning in. And then I just like being outdoors. So I want to get into, maybe fishing or just try it one time, but I like being outdoors. I'm not really a homebody. So.
There's a lot of great baseball talent from Atlanta.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Do you work out with anybody from any other organizations? I mean, shoot, there's enough from probably the Rangers to work out with, but it just seems like it's kind of been a hotbed. Did anybody you work out with?
So it's actually crazy. If I went down the list, I probably can name about 15 big leaguers I work out with, and then probably about 40 pro guys in general. So, but a couple guys, Lawrence Butler for the A's, Brett Roberts from the Marlins, Mike Harris from the Braves.
Yeah.
We all have like this little thing. So Marquise Grissom is kind of the owner of it, and it's called The Hill. And we work out there. And then Marvin Freeman is the pitching coach. So Tink Hintz with the Cardinals. We had that for about 6 weeks. But I do my strength training with Coach Mike out of Champ Fitness and Powder Springs. And then guys like Will Benson, Xavier Curry, we all go there. So, I mean, there's so many pro guys in Atlanta that we work out with, and we're all in a big group chat. And every time somebody's doing good, we all talk in the group chat, and it's just like a whole big family.
What is Drew Jones part of that?
No, he's not. He's not.
Okay, because I know you know who Andrew Jones is, and
yeah, for sure.
He spent 1 year at the Rangers. I don't know if you knew that. In 2009, he was with the Rangers. He was no longer a center fielder. He played first base and DH, and he had a decent season. But
that was
it's amazing that I'm old enough and John's old enough now. In fact, guys we've covered have kids in baseball and who are really good.
Yeah,
it makes you feel old, Mark.
Oh, I've got a daughter that's about 5 years older than him. So, I mean, are you kidding me? I'm an old man. So doing that. Okay. I got a couple more. I'm going to get you out of here. I could go on forever, but we're going to have you on again. And so we've got more questions to go. Yeah. What, Jeff?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you were saying I need to ask him something. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay. One of them, binge watching. Is there anything you're binge watching right now? You doing on Netflix or whatever? What are you going to?
I'm a big BMF guy right now. So, I mean, they got a new episode dropping every Friday. So that's the show I'm watching right now. I like Narcos.
BMF?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's about the Black Mafia family, if you ever heard of that.
Cool. What's that on?
It's on Stars.
Stars. Okay, I'm going to write that down.
I'm going to write that down.
I love mafia stuff, man. I love crime. Oh, cool. Okay, on Stars. All right. Last one. Now, this is a fun one. We always ask everybody, and we get some really fun answers. I'm anxious to hear yours. So It's what is something that nobody knows about Marc Church. And I'll give you some examples. Jack Leiter. I don't know if you know Leiter or not, but Jack Leiter hates peanut butter. He hates peanut butter. Yeah. And then you got, who else did we have? We had Davis Wenzel cut his finger off when he was a kid. Stuff like that. What is something that nobody knows about Marc Church?
See, that's a hard one.
It's always a tough one, but
wow, something that.
I love the looks because everybody's like, I usually tell everybody everything.
I'm trying to think. That's a good one. I'm not trying to give you guys a boring one because I could say something like I'm allergic to tree nuts, but that's not cool. But I'm trying to think.
So what are tree nuts? I mean, so you're talking like
walnuts and I can eat peanuts, but
okay.
So you can't have a slice of pecan pie?
No.
Oh man.
No.
I'll remember that.
We can't do that. It's okay if you got to think on it. Because listen, Jeff and I are going to be there Wednesday. We're going back out. His second trip. I'm flying out for the first time. We'll be there Wednesday through Monday. So we're definitely going to come look you up. And
I do have one for you.
Okay.
All right.
And you just you said it's not a big deal, but sometimes you wear a pink glove when you pitch.
Oh yeah. So
talk about your gloves because you got a bunch of different ones.
So yeah, I have 3 more actually coming in today. So I probably I wanted to go back to the locker room to see if they can. But yeah, I'm a guy. I love to be different out there. I have a black glove, a pink glove, a white glove. Like I literally just ordered an all white glove, and I'm sponsored by a small glove company called the JL Glove Company out of California. And when I told him I wanted an all white glove, he texted me. He was like, you can't pitch with that, right? And I'm like, yeah, I just want every color. So I want to get every color. And I travel with them all. And I like to have a variation that I could choose from every day.
You say the JL Glove Company?
Yeah, the JL Glove Company.
That's really cool. Now the pink one, so you don't have. That's going to be great whenever you're up here for the Mom's Day, and they do it for cancer awareness and stuff like that. But you'll already have the glove. That'll be cool. But just to go out and be different, I love it. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to see the white glove when we're there next week. I want to see that thing, man.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
It's like seeing a white buffalo or something like that.
Hey, Jeff, you got anything else? We let Mark get back out of there.
No, but you're staying at the Village, right across the street. I appreciate you hustling over from the game, and then working with us because I know the rain screwed the rain Wednesday screwed things up. But yeah, go out and get a nice salmon croquet somewhere and have a good meal tonight.
I'm afraid to ask about the salmon croquettes again because everybody thought I said something in a different language when I said that.
I have heard of them, and I think I've eaten them before. So
here's the thing: there are enough old people in Surprise that some restaurant there has to have it.
You need to Google that. I bet they do.
Yeah, I got to Google it.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Or maybe when my mom comes out, make her make them for me.
Absolutely,
there you go.
Mom.
There you go.
Maybe
Smell up
we'll
the plate.
be there too, and she need to make some extra because I'm telling you, salmon croquette's good. All right, guys, that's Marc Church, right-hand pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Mark, this has been fantastic, buddy. Thanks for stopping down. We'll see you Wednesday, and we'll come out and say hello.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Awesome.
You got it. Thanks, man. Guys, it is time to go down in the bus leagues on our last show before we go to spring training. I want to do something a little different. I mean, first of all, is there any news we're hearing from anybody out there that we need to talk about? Because after that, I want to talk about some guys that nobody's talking about who could really break out this year, have a chance to do something.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been a ton of news from the minor league side. It's just, guys are
They're not really there, but
they're not. Yeah, they're there early. I mean, I ran into Brock Porter, former guest, the fourth rounder last year, and he's been there since just after New Year's Day. So a lot of guys are doing that, and it's a good thing. You know, they're hungry and ready to go, and haven't heard of any injuries yet, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah,
they will pop up. I mean, there's going to be more than 100 of them. You know, it's going to happen. But right now, the way camp is going to break down is I think Monday is the 6th, right? So Monday and Tuesday, physicals and some on-field stuff. They'll practice, work out for a few days, then they'll have interleague games for a few days, and then they'll start.
When do they start interleague games? Thursday and Friday?
Boy, I think it's Friday at the earliest over that weekend, and then they start playing games against other teams.
So we'll be there right on
the following week. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's there's going to be bodies everywhere,
right?
And but it's a good thing, and
right?
The good thing is that they all have names on their jerseys.
Yeah.
So that helps, no doubt about it. I mean, we recognize a lot of them, but it's always good to get a little insurance.
Well, let me ask you this before I get into my little thing I want to do. Who is it you're excited to see once they get started? Some names that we know. Like I want to see Gutierrez. I haven't really seen him in person. Yeah. Everyone knows that name. He's one of the top prospects in the organization.
Sure.
I really want to see him in person.
Yeah, he's in camp. That group of young Dominican guys, they're all in camp. I want, Sebastian Walcott, who they just signed from the Bahamas.
Is he going to be there?
He's there now.
Really?
Yeah, he got there on last Friday.
There's another one I want to see.
We want to see.
Yeah.
Such a young guy. Bahamas. There's not a language barrier, so we're going to be able to talk to him, I think. And but like Dane Acker has just been getting rave reviews.
Yes. And maybe our guest next week.
Yeah. No, he's going to be on at some point. We're going to talk to him in a podcast setting, whether it's next week or the week after.
Absolutely.
You're getting some Dane Acker for the second time. He came on last year when he was rehabbing.
But I have read that they are just
love Dane Acker. And I've seen Ian Muller, the catcher who was on our show last year from Surprise. Didn't have a great showing at Down East, but you're hearing a lot of talk about Cody Freeman because he's in big league camp.
Who's been on the show?
Yeah, but Freeman and Muller are probably neck and neck for the number 2 catching prospect behind Huff. I know Huff isn't a prospect, but he's also not established yet, so we'll still call him a prospect. The Rangers, he's got a big arm and he has a lot of power.
Yeah,
and they think that this is kind of the year that he's going to be able to step forward. One of his best friends is Cam Cauley.
Yeah.
Who got some serious love from Baseball America. The Baseball America had him as the Rangers' number 15 prospect.
Who came along later. He kind of struggled at first, starting the season.
Yeah,
but these were high school kids coming out.
Sure, and he's athletic guy. Has hit some home runs. He's got little powers developing. Good defensive player. So interesting to see him too. Davis Wenzel, who's been at camp. He hit a home run in the Cactus League game the other day.
Right.
I'd assume the only thing that's holding Davis back is injuries.
Absolutely.
He's a major league talent.
Well, let's be really honest. Last year when Josh Young went down, that was a name after the way he started in spring training. We thought that was the guy that was going to end up making his major league.
Thought he'd be the first guy up.
Yep, that's exactly.
Yeah. And then he struggled a little out of the gate, and then he
got hurt.
Back, they thought it was his calf, but it was in the back, so he had to go to Arizona and rehab it. He ended up hitting like 17 or 18 home runs last season. He didn't hit for a high average, but he had worked the previous offseason on adding elevation loft to his swing.
Right.
He accomplished that. Now is the finishing piece there, is the hit tool behind.
Right.
Great. Let's see it. Let's see how he plays. I want to see Brock Porter, Andrew Painter, who was a big time draft choice last year. He pitched in a game for the Phillies yesterday and 99, and everybody's like, ooh, well, Brock Porter was considered a better prospect than that guy.
Yep.
So let's get Brock in an A game and see what he can do. And
I don't think they're going to do that.
You never know.
What is it called? He's a Jix, just in case.
A Jick, just in case.
Just in case, maybe come in and throw an inning. I don't know, but what? He's going to he's already throwing now, but we'll definitely see Porter walking around there.
Yeah. So I want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see
one of the things I wanted to look at, we know top prospects. We know the guys everyone talks about, Evan Carter. They're talking about the guys that are there. But there's some guys that have been, for whatever reason, they've kind of slid under. They've been forgotten, who could really maybe get totally healthy, get going, and showcase.
Yeah.
And there are some guys that, as deep as this organization are, these guys were legit prospects, or they are not just names or has-beens.
Yeah.
These guys are legit who no one's talking about. And there's a few of them. One for me, obviously, is Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy from UCLA. And if you haven't seen what he did last year, he just stayed at Down East. But this is a guy who was
I think he finished at Hickory. I think he got a start in
Did he end up getting one there? He was the Pac-12 Player of the Year coming out of UCLA when he was drafted by the Rangers in the second round. Yeah, it was second round, and has suffered through the injuries after that. But good Lord, this guy knows how to throw. He was the Friday night pitcher, and if you don't know about college baseball, the Friday night pitcher is the ace of the staff.
Yeah.
And he had like a 1.74 ERA in college in the Pac-12. Now, the Pac-12, any baseball, even SEC, is not AA or AAA hitting, nothing like that. But I don't care. That's big-time baseball, and that guy he was good. I want to see Ryan Garcia fully. He came on the show. What a great kid.
Yeah.
But he didn't care if he stayed at Down East all year. He's back healthy on a mound.
Yeah, he's grateful for where he is.
Absolutely.
I think these guys can take the game for granted, and then when they take it away from them, they realize, hey, this is a special opportunity we have. I mean, he lives right down the street from the complex. He's been there as well. I think Aaron Zavala was staying with him this winter after the surgery. I saw Aaron. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but that's another guy. I know people talk to him about him a lot. I mean, he's a Baseball America top 10 prospect, but see how quickly he can mend, and see when he can get back on the field, because he's a guy who has such a great approach and understanding of the strike zone. They don't want him to get... And
legitimately maybe a reason why some of these outfield guys that they didn't sign weren't signed. Well, they know they have some guys that could fill in for that left field spot.
Yeah, Dustin Harris, too, who's in big league camp.
Evan Carter. I mean, you got 3 or 4 guys right there on the brink.
Getting there. And so, yeah, I agree with seeing Ryan, but, there are guys who you just, like Larson Kindrich, who pitched so well last year. Mitch Bratt, who's going to be pitching for Canada. Unfortunately, he'll be gone.
We'll get to see him on TV. Go watch him pitch for.
I'm assuming Team Canada won't advance, so
he won't be gone too long.
Get him at the end of camp, but he had a really good year. Another one of our guests, and interesting backstory. It's just there are just so many guys. You hate to.
I'll tell you another name.
Somebody.
Yeah, I've got one, and this guy, when he was drafted, and this guy right here has been touted at one time as he is the most athletic, best athlete in this entire organization, and has just been riddled with the worst luck as far as injuries go, and that's Chris Cease.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he
is a stud.
He's there now. He's like a specimen.
He's unbelievable. 6'3".
He's a specimen, man.
And they say I'm going to tell you right now. I remember hearing this back when he was the first year out of the draft. They were like, "This is the guy that will replace Elvis Andrus.
Yeah,
this is the guy that will be the next shortstop for the Texas Rangers."
Yeah,
and he just 2 freak shoulder surgeries
and then an ACL. He was in the they took him 3 picks after Bubba Thompson, so that would have been 2017, and so he's still young, but he's getting older. He 25, 26. He needs I know he's got the injury history, and the COVID year screwed everybody up, and so your 24-year-olds or 23-year-old experience wise, so he needs to have a good year. This is a big year for him. He needs to get to AA and do
I think he'll start at AA.
He might, yeah, but he needs to have a productive year. I heard
they're putting him at some first base too.
Well, he can probably play anywhere, and they do not have a lot of
first base depth.
First baseman in the farm system.
This is a guy they thought had power.
Sure,
this is a big
speed.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's a big boy. He's fast. Can play shortstop, and I remember getting some video of him last year playing shortstop when we were there at spring and doing that. So that's 2. I said Ryan Garcia and Chris Cease. These are guys no one's talking about.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you right now, if nothing else, don't solidify themselves again. Jonathan Renelis kind of fell off the map and then shot back last year with the year he had.
Right.
This could be a guy that could earn his way at somebody else taking a chance with him or be included in a deal or somewhere. Yeah. Send us Cease also. They maybe they don't have the depth at a certain position to do that, but that's two that I'm thinking of. Anybody else you're thinking of that no one?
These guys aren't under the radar because they're a major league camp, but this offseason they didn't get a lot of attention. Blaine Krim, our buddy,
hit another home run.
Another friend of ours, Justin Foscue.
Foscue took off.
And it's just crazy. They both had really, really good years. And I know Foscue didn't have the big power numbers, but he still had an OPS of over 850.
Right.
Or right around 850. And this is just a good, these are just two good players. And I mean, Foscue, for some reason, Baseball America didn't have him in their top 10.
Okay.
All right. He is a very good, legitimate prospect. Maybe it's because he didn't have a position. But the Rangers just think he's going to hit a lot. And so I just think that he'll probably go to, I'm assuming he starts at AAA this year.
Yep.
And he's going to hit because that's what he does. And same thing with Blaine. And Blaine is just a hit machine. And I just think that those two guys have a chance to create opportunities for themselves. And I know they're in big league camp, so I guess you can't say they're under the radar, but those things just kind of sticks out to me. Just kind of, maybe it bothers me. I don't know. But
Blaine Krim has hit every year, but let's be honest, he's blocked right now with Lowe up at the big league level, but the guy has hit every year, every time he's come up. Yeah. And he's got power.
Yeah.
And hit another one yesterday.
That was a good shot too. It bounced up onto the cross. The cross was pretty good there. Yeah.
So, well, guys, anything before we wrap this thing up?
No, just remember to subscribe to Rangers Today. $5.99 a month, $5.99 a month, $35 for 6 months, $60 for a year. Maybe it's because I've been in Arizona and where everything is happy and optimistic, but there's just a different vibe around the team this year.
Oh, man.
They really think they're going to be good. And
a lot of fans around there when you were there?
It was growing.
Yeah.
And
we're going to have a lot when we're there.
And you guys don't want to miss anything. And we cover it all. We cover the farm system like nobody else.
Nope.
We're there pretty much every day.
Absolutely.
When the club's at home, we'll make some road trips. I've got a cell phone full of phone numbers.
Yep.
So we're
best move I ever made.
We're a very good value. If you're looking for Rangers coverage that isn't going to cost you what a traditional outlet costs you.
Yep. And it's just Rangers.
It's just Rangers. So you got to sign up. It's really, really good. And then this YouTube channel is something else too.
Yeah.
Nobody has the videos like we have the videos, and nobody has a Rangers podcast like we do. So we don't want you to miss it. So subscribe, share it, like it, comment. We try to get to the comments. You'll notice. I know one guy's going to notice that I'm not wearing the Callaway hat today. I'm wearing I'm from Colorado, so this is the Colorado State flag logo. I'm wearing a Colorado hat today, not a Colorado Rockies hat, a state of Colorado hat. So I did it for you. I saw your comment, and so I'm wearing the Colorado hat.
All right. He did that too. And hey, for you guys that love the YouTube channel, what's going on? Tell your friends that are Hispanic. We are going to be doing some more Hispanic stuff. Our producer, Joel Perez, is going to work with us no matter what's going on. He's going to come out and do some interviews in Spanish with some of these guys that are way more comfortable just talking Spanish. And a lot of these guys will talk to us, but they're just more comfortable talking Spanish. It's just their native. And Joel did a great job with Martin Perez last year. And Perez has already told him, you come to me, I'll get the guys for them. But we're going to have a channel on there for them because let's be honest. I mean, I want every Ranger fan to be a part of Rangers Today. I don't care whether you're Hispanic and you're Spanish speaking. I don't care what you are. You need to come to Rangers Today, and we're going to get you some coverage the way you like it.
For sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's just complete coverage. That's all I can say. It really is.
Absolutely. Well, guys, listen, spring training. Thanks again for Premier Properties for sponsoring us for spring training. Don't remember to go to their website at swdallasrealty.com. That's SW like Southwest DallasRealty.com. Give me a DM or call me or that. But, guys, this one's different. I usually say I'll see you at the yard, but next time, guys, I'll see you from Arizona.
All right.
That's it.
Let's do it.
Roxo Media House.